everyone? Quincy with the Geek View. I have Jeremy here, and we're here to talk about Fantastic Beasts and the Secrets of Dumbledore. So, Jeremy, what did you think?
Wait, I thought we weren't doing that.
Oh, I'm so sorry. It's so hard. It's habit. I've been rehearsing that for so long. Okay.
Kingdom of Bhutan. Some of our most important magic has its origins there. And they say if you listen carefully enough, the past whispers to you. The world as we know it is coming undone. Things that seem unimaginable today will seem inevitable tomorrow.
I imagine that you're all wondering why you find yourselves here. From this moment forward, each of us has been assigned a role to play.
If we're to defeat Grindelwald, you'll have to trust me, even when every instinct tells you not to.
Dumbledore asked that I give you something, Jacob.
Are you kidding me right now?
What you're doing is madness. With or without you, I'll burn down their world. Do you really intend to turn your back on your own kind?
Hey everybody, it's Jeremy and Quincy here with the Geek View, and we just watched Fantastic Beasts: Secrets of Dumbledore.
Not at the same time or the same theater. Well, the hard thing is, like, I'm a Harry Potter fan, and I watched it on opening night because I love Harry Potter, and this didn't feel Harry Potter.
I mean, it doesn't even say Harry Potter in the name anymore.
Oh, I know. Actually, I was telling all my friends, I'm like, hey, I'm going to see the new Harry Potter movie tonight. And they're like, what Harry Potter movie? And everyone, like, I think 10 people are like, that's not Harry Potter. That's not Harry Potter.
It's not Harry Potter. It's got nothing to even do with Harry Potter itself.
I know, but it's like, the brand is so strong. I think to myself, like, okay, yeah, Harry Potter. And I'm like, yeah, it's not Harry Potter. And but I feel like Fantastic Beasts is also a title that I can't really get into. Fantastic Beasts. It's not something that rolls off the tongue and I can say on a regular.
Well, it's either that or you say Newt Scamander every single time.
Newt Scamander.
It's like, hey, everybody, I'm going to go see the new Newt Scamander movie.
Yeah, I like that name. Newt Scamander. Like, it's almost like something commander, but Newt is also kind of like an animal. So
it's a lizard.
Yeah, it's a lizard. That's what.
Yeah,
a
Newt's a lizard.
It's a reptile. And then so it's like Newt Scamander. I think that's cool. I would name my kid that.
No, you wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't.
What the heck are you even saying?
Newt Scamander Solano. Anyway, but it was a mess, in my opinion. I don't know. The whole movie was just crazy.
This is actually probably one of the very few movies that I've actually thought about leaving the theater early.
No way.
No, it's seriously. There were like moments where I'd be like watching the movie and I just come to this realization that I'm so bored with this film.
Word. Well, where did you feel the most boredom?
I think it was like it was like specific points when they were explaining everything. Like, for example, I don't know. I thought it was kind of boring. The fight between Credence and Dumbledore, for example, right? Like that, it started off pretty strong,
impressive,
and then at the very but it lasted for like 20 seconds, and then it just kind of ends with nothing happening.
Oh yeah, and Jude Law just manhandles him, and essentially it was left with okay, and then that's it. And what was Dumbledore doing to Credence when he like flicked spit or he blew something? Or
I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. I still don't know.
And it didn't do anything. I was like, wait, I was like, oh, did it lessen his powers? Did it, like mind control him?
I thought it was that's what allowed them to enter like a alternate dimension.
A temporal universe.
Sure. I don't know. That's what I thought it was, but I don't even know anymore.
It was like, it was very strange. Like that was a pointless fight because, he went there to actually fight Dumbledore.
Well,
actually kill him.
Not only that was pointless, but it was like very disappointing because like the last two films, they were building up Credence to be like this
super strong.
This super strong wizard that was capable of defeating Dumbledore. Like that was Grindelwald's plan to defeat Dumbledore and get around the blood pendant thing.
So that was the purpose, right? To use
Yeah.
Credence to take down Dumbledore, but because of the blood pact. But the real thing about it, the whole movie, and I think that's why maybe it was a little bit boring, is the fact that everything that they had set up for so long, you know, to do this movie after 3 years of waiting, being stuck in the pandemic, it all amounted to nothing because everything was thrown out the window.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, so it's like the build up for Credence thrown out the window. You know, the ending of the movie with, like even everything that was done. So maybe this was a soft reset. Maybe they had to do a soft.
This is definitely not a soft reset. This was like a hard goodbye.
Hard goodbye. hard end to the franchise.
Yeah,
It was-
because well,
it
like
was
the setup between Credence and Dumbledore was thrown out the window. The love interest between Newt and Tina was completely thrown
out
under the
window.
rug.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
like
right.
this doesn't even happen. The whole backstory with Queenie and Kowalski
Oh,
also didn't make any sense. I still don't understand why she moved on to the dark side in the first place in the second film.
side. Yep.
Yeah, it makes no sense to me, and it still doesn't give an explanation of why she did it. And then they kind of quickly just like had a come back to the light side with no repercussions whatsoever, and they get married and have a happy ending. And then the whole
terrible.
aspect of Grindelwald, right? The second one's called The Crimes of Grindelwald, meaning he's a criminal, right? He's wanted by the wizarding community, but in the third film, he's like
Absolve his
forgiven.
crimes.
He's absolved of all of his crimes, and then automatically allowed to enter this
The
election
Wizarding King. Yeah.
to be like the leader of this coalition. And it's like, okay, how does anyone have the power to like absolve Grindelwald of all of his crimes just like that?
I guess
It's like I thought they were like
the
some
Wizard
sort
King.
of some sort of democracy or some republic. It looked like because they were voting.
But not even that. It's like it wasn't even voting because the Chillin, right? This mystical
Yeah, and
animal,
then they decided, you know what? Instead of going with the normal election, let's just use an ancient magical deer to kneel in front of people to
that
choose
they
a
used
leader.
to use back in the days, right?
I mean, that's just convenience right there. It's just like, yeah, this is an animal that we used in the past because we have to somehow fit in a magical beast into this movie.
because we're Fantastic Beasts.
Because the title says Fantastic Beast, so we actually have to fit in an actual Fantastic Beast to fit the film.
Yeah, that was terrible. It's like, you know, you think that this franchise has so much potential, and you know, like I said, I'm a Harry Potter fan, and just going into the movie and coming out of the theater, I was just like completely disappointed. It was
And then there's also, you know, the other characters like Theseus, right, Newt's brother, who is supposed to be like, you know, this head of like some sort of like magical department within the Ministry of Magic, and he's just allowed to kind of just wander around, you know, just go on off on an adventure, and then get kidnapped.
can do whatever he wants. Yeah, and he got kidnapped by the same group of people that actually absolved Grindelwald of his crimes.
Yeah.
And it was like, I think a lot of it just flow wise didn't make sense. I thought there were some great qualities. I mean, it was kind of cool to show like the German Ministry of Magic, but even Grindelwald's crimes, weren't they done in the US? So why was the German minister able to absolve him of his crimes, right?
I think it was just crimes against everybody, not just necessarily America.
Oh, like all the Wizarding world, right? The entire Wizarding world.
Yeah, because he had a wanted sign in Germany.
It was confusing for me, and then even at the end, you know, Grindelwald and Albus Dumbledore, they do end up fighting too at the end in the same type of alternate realm of fighting with Credence, and it just seems so pointless. It's like, oh, is this what we do to prevent like collateral damage?
Oh, and then I guess at least the final point is the whole blood pendant.
Right. Well, yeah. How did that
thing.
break? What
I don't know.
What
It's
caused
magic.
that to break?
Magic.
Magic.
It just
That's
it's
the answer
just,
to everything.
It's just because of magic.
Magic broke it. Even though in the beginning they were trying to destroy it, and then they tried to break it apart, and then as it was leaving Dumbledore, it was choking him and wrapping around his wrist, choking his neck, and
it broke. So I don't know what's going on. And then at the final end, right when they revealed the true Chillin, which by the way was kind of a weird transition of events. because
Yeah.
they just allowed anybody to like, I guess, bring up like a chillin, and I guess everyone just trusts that from the get go.
Right,
Like, there's
even though
no
it
way
was,
to like, there's like
was-
no way to verify what's real, you know, because it's all magic. You know, I'm sure they can conjure up something
the
to.
chillin validity. We couldn't validate this chillin, and then the fact that the chillin in itself could be compromised or even be like swayed, whatever the case may be.
Well, he brought it back to life, right? And then
Right.
enchanted it to kneel in front of him.
But then that's weird. It's like all of these like things that happen in the movie were never kind of talked about before, never really happened before, which I guess would be okay if it kind of fit in the whole you know, world, the wizarding world.
And then finally, at the very, very, very end, when the true Chillin is supposed to kneel, you'd think they would kneel in front of, you know, someone else, right? Like
Right.
Newt or even Kowalski himself.
Kowalski, that's what I thought.
Oh, and then Kowalski's in a whole new bag of chips. That it's like I just realized like there's the whole thing with the wand also doesn't make sense. But anyway,
Yeah.
the whole thing with the Chillin kneeling, right? It decides to kneel in front of Dumbledore.
Right.
I
Yeah.
was like, why?
Well, and the funny thing is technically since it bowed in front of Dumbledore should have been like appointed the next,
Yeah.
you know.
Well,
wizarding
I
king.
mean, I guess, but he's like, no, thank you, I
He's
don't
like,
want that.
Nah, just
And
pass
then
on.
the Chillin just kneels in front of the other lady who we have no understanding of who she is, and we don't know why. You know,
Yeah,
what,
and the funny thing was that she was one of the elected officials. Like, so happened to be one of the elected officials of the three people.
no,
who-
she was one of the candidates. Yeah,
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like, how is it that like the Chillin went to the candidate to just
Mhm.
bow to them? Like, could have went to anybody, but it went to that one.
Oh, yeah,
candidate.
yeah, yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
like that's convenient, right? Oh,
it's
that's
super convenient. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like they made such a big thing out of this whole election thing. It's like, but we're giving no context as to what the election's about and also who these people are.
Well, remember they were using the room of requirement to get to the actual election site, and all it was a port key. It's like the room of requirement was meant to come in your greatest need, right? And it's like just a port key, and then everyone goes through it, and boop, and then they're there. It's like it didn't create anything of need or it didn't create anything of interest. And I was gonna say the battle with Newt's brother.
Yeah.
And then how they're fighting all the guards, like they single-handedly took out like 15-20 guards, and then all of a sudden these two guards come behind them and sneak behind them. I'm like, wait, what is that? And then even the suitcases, why even have the suitcases?
That was probably the only thing that I could kind of follow along. It's like, yeah, we need to use different suitcases, identical to one another, because everyone's gonna take one and then go their separate ways and reach the point.
But then it just felt like it was just like a plot device to just create more scenes of nothing.
Yeah, that's like the whole movie, though. The whole movie is just scenes of them doing things, because of this whole the Chillin can see the future sort of ordeal, and the only way to like throw off the future is to create like random events that
Oh yeah.
doesn't make any sense. But it's so confusing that even the audience doesn't understand what's going on.
Let's make this super confusing so no one can predict the future, but so confusing that even the audience can't follow what's going on.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. Actually, that's kind of true. Because remember, they also introduced like when they're all in the train, right? They all port key to the train after they get Kowalski. They go on the train and then they start talking about, okay, this is the plan. And then there's this guy, Yusuf, right? He was he Beatrix Lestrange's brother?
Yeah.
Right. And then all of a sudden he comes in and he's supposed to betray, like, you know, the team, right? And then they pull out his memory of his sister and everything like that. They go through that whole hullabaloo and then he just shows up and then double crosses everything.
Well, not even that. He doesn't double cross anything. He just takes out like 3 guys at the very end. That's all he does.
And so pointless, right? Like, what is your point in the movie? So
Yeah, what was the point of you going over in the first place?
even more so, like, you know, a lot of people were talking about Nagini, how Nagini was kind of introduced in the first 2 movies, and then there's no Nagini to even
Which one's
see or mention.
Nagini?
Nagini, she was the Asian girl in the second movie. They showed her, and then they're like, oh, Nagini, she was trapped in the circus. She was trapped in the circus.
Oh.
Yeah, but she didn't even show up in this movie.
The Nagini is the snake from Voldemort.
Correct. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, there's been theories that she becomes the snake later down the line. So
Yeah.
that's kind of one of the main things. And then like even worse is like Tina, right? Tina's watching for the ministry, and then all of a sudden she's there at Queenie's wedding. And I would say the exchange between Newt and Tina were probably the best, like the most heartfelt, like the awkwardness of Newt and Tina, that like they have such great chemistry.
Yawn.
I
That
think
whole thing was
I think they have
yawn.
good chemistry together.
Yawn.
What? You don't like
that
them? Actually, I do
yawn.
like Kowalski and Queenie too. They're both kind of neat to.
Yeah, not everyone needs a love story.
Well, apparently they didn't, and they didn't have one.
Yeah, they didn't have one.
There was no story. It was zero story. Oh,
yeah.
man.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it was an overall kind of disappointing movie.
And I think the last thing that I probably have the biggest thing is the relationship between Albus and his brother.
Oh, that was weird.
Yeah, it was extremely weird. Because in the books, or at least in the Harry Potter films, right, it's hinted at, or not even hinted, it's suggested that like they don't, or the brother doesn't
Want anything to do with him, right?
doesn't really like his brother Albus, right?
Yeah.
Aberforth.
Yeah.
Aberforth does not like his brother Albus because he wasn't there when the sister died and stuff like that. But in this one, they seemed a little bit closer, and the fact that now that it's revealed that Aberforth had a
His
secret
son.
son,
Yeah.
which is the whole secret of Dumbledore, which, okay, sure. It kind of changes that whole dynamic, I feel, right? Like it's no longer now there's them being distant brothers. They're kind of closely bonded by the fact that this whole ordeal happened,
Right.
and now he's reunited with his dying son.
Canonically, it doesn't seem like it would fit. Like that's why I think a lot of people feel that with like this whole Fantastic Beasts series, it's not even a part of the Harry Potter world, right?
The tie-in is so strong with Harry Potter because of
Right.
Dumbledore.
Yeah, but that's the only thing, right? I felt
Yeah.
like, well, actually, what was kind of cool was seeing Minerva. I thought Minerva was kind of cool. Like, hey, it's Minerva.
Oh, that was just for nostalgia stakes, I guess.
Yeah, just for the good memories, the good times.
Mhm.
But yeah, it was a. Hopefully, they'll bring it back in the next four seasons.
Hopefully, they won't bring it back in the next 4 or 5 years, and they'll just let it die, and then we can move on from this
What if-
series, and
you don't
never
think
and never ever think on it again.
You don't think that would be a shame if they just
Nope.
like canceled it?
Nope, not really. Nope,
The
not in
story
the
is
slightest.
incomplete.
I don't care. They could have ended it on this. Honestly, I'd be fine with it.
You're like, dude,
I'm
follow
not.
where
I
it's
honestly
going.
have no desire to find out what happens to Grindelwald.
Yeah,
He could go into hiding for all I care, and be like, okay, that's the end of that story.
I feel like this movie just has been also plagued with just so much controversy all throughout. Like Ezra Miller, he was arrested, a week before, so they didn't want to highlight him too much. They didn't have him come to the opening, and
Mhm.
then of course the whole thing with Johnny Depp and then Grindelwald, and then having to recast him. It's just been plagued with so much different things, and I don't know. I don't know if they're just contractually obligated to kind of keep this going, because I feel like all the actors were good. I felt like that when they introduced that new girl, she was good,
You mean Hicks?
Yeah, Hicks.
That was completely random.
Yeah, she was random, but I liked her. Defense of the Dark Arts. She was great.
I mean, she's just really good at defense, right?
Yeah.
But I have no idea who she is or what her
Yeah,
relationship is to everything. Why
Right.
why
all of a sudden, yeah, just introduce her to introduce her, right?
why was she even invited in the first place? I guess she was just there to replace Tina.
At first, I was thinking there was going to be a relationship between Kowalski and Hicks because they're getting kind of close and they're always hanging out. And I thought so. You didn't think so? They didn't have no chemistry?
I did think that Kowalski was probably the best character of it all because I honestly felt really, really sad and bad for him at the very beginning.
Oh, because he was all depressed and his bakery was not making money.
No, the whole scene where he imagined seeing Queenie.
Oh yeah, that was.
and
sad.
he's just hugging air. Like, I thought that was so sad.
Yeah, that was sad.
He was very depressed about Queenie joining Grindelwald.
Yeah, I mean, it was
made
kind
no
of
sense. He was probably
Yeah.
depressed about it because it made no sense, and Grindelwald's all about being anti-Muggle.
right, but which is weird because Queenie was an anti-Muggle, so
Yeah,
it wouldn't make sense.
and the fact they had the wedding cake all planned out already, and he had like the two little miniatures, right? And his was like on the ground.
yeah, very symbolic. And then of course, Hicks comes and tries to recruit him, but I mean, he was actually easily convinced. It didn't seem like he needed too much convincing to actually join the party.
Yeah, I still don't know why he was convinced to come in the first place. I mean, I'm glad he was there,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I still don't know why, because he is a Muggle, and
He has no
can't
powers.
he has no powers, and he was
What-
given a wand that
he
he
was given
can't
a-
use.
right. And
But
then
apparently, he was, given that's what Hicks was there, was to give the illusion that he could use magic. But then it's like, at the same time, don't like the wizards know that he's a Muggle, but he's a Muggle that somehow is using magic to assassinate Grindelwald. Like, I don't. Which
Yeah.
one is it? Which one is it, guys?
Well, and that's what it felt. I felt like if like the Chillin had actually bowed before, Kowalski, it would have made it a little bit more impactful because it's like, oh hey, like the Chillin can discover like pure of heart, and
Yeah.
it's like, hey, he was pure of heart, like he was kind of a good guy all throughout.
Yeah, and I think it would have created a whole new dynamic with Grindelwald's followers, right? Because they're all about anti-Muggle. So if they saw like their magical deer Bambi thing kneel in front of Muggle, right? It would force them to come to terms with their own decisions or their own opinions on Muggles.
Yeah, none of it made sense. It kind of just was going through the motions. Even just all the Fantastic Beasts, like, was pointless. Like, even like trying to save his brother, Newt's brother, just didn't make sense. And then we ended up the movie. The movie's done. Everyone was mad at Grindelwald
finished,
again.
yeah, and then I left.
Is there anything that you're looking forward to in the next installment?
Yeah, never seeing it in theaters ever again.
So you're definitely not gonna see the fourth movie.
I mean, if it comes out, I'll probably wait like a month.
Well, the problem is they have no direction to go. Like, where else can they go? It seems like
I don't know, but it feels like they've written themselves into like a little corner with the name Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah,
Because after, like, literally from the get-go, it was never really about Fantastic Beasts to begin with.
right, it was all
It was-
about Grindelwald.
Yeah, it was all
And
about
Dumbledore.
Grindelwald and
Yeah.
Dumbledore. Yes,
Maybe that's why. they're having such a hard time.
and Newt was just there.
Right. Who's Newt? You just say Newt out of nowhere.
Newt was just kind of there in the middle, being used by Dumbledore to do all these random events that apparently have no effect on the outcome.
It just ends up in the same way, right? And then actually Dumbledore himself is the one who essentially broke the blood pact, right? It wasn't. It would make sense if Newt was being used by Dumbledore, and then Grindelwald was being used by, Credence was being used by Grindelwald, right? And then that's the reason why everybody exists. But
They were being used.
But well, yeah, they were being used. But I feel like in the Harry Potter series, Dumbledore did something similar to Harry, right? Because he was using Harry to kind of beat Voldemort.
No, his whole thing was to get him prepared to face Voldemort because he knew Voldemort was going to
Rise to power, come return, and rise to power.
Well, he knew Voldemort was going after Harry Potter, and he knew that he was eventually going to die. Like, it was already planned ahead of time that that Dumbledore was going to be killed by Snape.
Right. Well, I mean, like, but aside from that, it's like he still used Harry Potter.
Yeah, but not for malicious needs. It was more so to prepare Harry Potter so he could survive.
Yeah,
Because that was the only way he knew that he could get him prepared for like upcoming battle, because he knew he wouldn't be there.
it would be nice to see like Dumbledore's like character kind of evolve into who he was like later in the series, but I just don't see that at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would have been nice. I would have loved to have seen Dumbledore in his more prime stage, where he's like a little bit more arrogant,
Yeah.
a little bit more primal, I guess, in his approach to things.
Yeah, but he's not. I mean, he's just playing puppeteer and then just going around and just, like, and weird is that is like he joins the battles. I mean, he's the only person who was doing most of the battling.
Yeah,
You know what I
which
mean?
also was kind of a bore, to be honest.
Worst movie of all time. Hashtag Jeremy 2022.
Hashtag not impressed.
Yeah, but I mean, let us know what you guys think. I mean, was the movie as bad as it really was, or do you feel like there was some redeeming qualities for it? Let us know in the comments below. Like and subscribe, and who knows, maybe it'll be around for us to
Trick
review.
question. That was a trick question. There are no redeeming qualities.
Oh
in
my
this.
goodness, what are you talking about? You even said so yourself. You like the whole was it the Queenie? Well, actually,
I said I think the best character was Kowalski.
yeah, and that's it. He was all,
Actually
and his involvement was very pointless.
Yeah, his was like the most pointless of them all.
Yeah. So check out the terrible movie. Don't waste your money. Maybe just wait till it comes out on
Or
HBO Max.
don't even just
Don't even try.
just skip it. Just skip it.
This is one that Geek View. Actually, I don't think there's ever been a movie that we haven't recommended, except for this.
Well, yeah, this is definitely a don't bother movie.
Yeah, that's all we got. But yeah, make sure to like and subscribe, and then we'll see you next time.
Yeah, sounds good.